Alright, so we're going to go over the week 8 example. This is very similar to one of the previous examples, but we're going to do it a different method. So here's the print right here. So with this method, we're going to, instead of using individual hole locations, we're actually going to use pattern locations, and we're going to pattern loop these to basically make it a little bit easier, so we can save a little bit of time programming. So I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to start off and go to our program manager and create a new program, conversational, and go ahead and save it as whatever you want to save it as. So this is the week 8 example. I'm going to put my initials in here. Alright, so there's, save that. Now we're going to create our tools. So we go to our tool setup up here. And if we can see here on our tool list, we have a center drill and a regular drill. So we'll go ahead and create those. So for the center drill, make it tool 5. And it's an 1/8 inch. Turn our coolant on. We'll just throw some speeds and feeds in here real quick. For our drill, we'll make it tool number 10. Alright, so now we get to the programming. So go to our part programming here, and we'll start out with holes, drill operations, drill. Make sure you put your Z start above the part to give clearance for the rapid movement. And make sure your Z bottom is below the depth of your part. So our depth is 0.25, so we'll add a little bit extra to that to make clearance for our breakthrough. So we'll just make it 0.5 for now. This is going to be tool 10. And then for our locations here, we'll just call our locations at 0, 0. And actually, not 0, 0. We're actually going to put it at the first position, which our first position is at 1 inch and 0.75. The print calls out up here at the part 0, the top left corner. We'll go ahead and just program from the bottom left corner. And it's symmetrical, so it's 0.75 in Y. So we'll go ahead and program that in. It's 1 inch and 0.75. Alright, so now go to our view. I skipped the center drill, so I'll go ahead and put that in real quick before our drill. I accidentally forgot about that. So we'll just insert before our drill, another drill operation. This one we only need to go about 50 thou deep just to give a little spot to help center up our main drill. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to use our pattern locations. So we want to pattern this individual block so that it does all of these different holes. So we'll insert a block before, and we're going to do patterns. So now we want to do a pattern loop. What that does is it uses a consistent deviation between each loop so that we can pattern multiple holes the same distance apart. So if we do loop and loop rectangular, what loop rectangular does, it moves in multiple directions. So see here we have holes going in the x-axis and also holes moving up in y. So since we have two different movements here, we want to do a rectangular. So you can see here the diagram they show us is a very, very similar situation. So now we know we have 6 holes in the X, and we have 2 holes in the Y. And our distance in the X is 1.25, and our distance in the Y is 2.5. We just use those values that they call out as typical, because we know that each separation is going to be that same amount. And here we can see the 2.5 between the 2 holes in Y. Alright, so once we start this pattern, we have to end it. So we're applying it right now to just these holes. So we want to go to the end of our program and insert an end before that. Whenever you start a pattern, you have to end it. So we're going to do a pattern and an end. So now if we review our program, we can see the start of our pattern, and we're applying it to the holes, and then it ends afterwards. Now what we want to do is we want to go to our part setup, and we want to set up our stock geometry just to make it draw a little bit neat, a little bit more neat. We got 8 1/4 and 4 inches. Alright, so now we got that set up. We'll go ahead and draw it. Go to our graphics right here. And then we'll go to our drawing options and we'll draw. Alright, so we can see it put all those holes in there. And if we view it isometric, you can see everything nice and neat. Alright, so one thing we want to do now is what it's actually going to do is the way we pattern here, it's actually going to try and do each of these holes individually. So when it goes to drill with the center drill and then drill with our actual drill, it's going to do that in this specific location, and then it's going to pattern it to the next one. So we're actually going to have about 15 or more different tool changes between every single for the whole part. So we're just going to do a tool change between these 2 holes, tool change between these 2 holes. It's going to cost a lot of time. So the way we speed that up is we go to our program review. We can copy this all together and then paste it. So now we have the same thing twice. What we want to do is we want to apply this pattern to just the center drill. So we'll go to our drill here and we'll delete it for this first one. And then for our second one, we want to delete the center drill. So see here, I'm on the second group of patterns. I'm going to delete that center drill. Now when we draw it, you can see how it center drilled and then it drilled. Before it was doing each hole individually. If you watch closely, I'll draw it again. You can see him doing all the center drills, then all the drills. Before it was doing every single hole, center drill and drill. Then switching tools, center drill and drill. So it was wasting a lot of time. So anytime you have a pattern, you basically only want a pattern for an individual tool for the most part. Anytime you have loops that take place. Otherwise it will use all of the tools you are patterning for each individual part or hole or section or whatever you're patterning. So in order to optimize your program and save time, you want to copy those blocks and tweak them so that it's only applying to the tools you want to pattern in a specific order. You can see here we just have our center drill, and then here we just have our drill. So it's saving a lot of time. That's pretty much it for the first example. So we'll go ahead and save that out. And